Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning, you all. It's the top of the morning. It's a great day out here in LA. Can't believe after leaving Atlanta last week, waiting in the snow, come back to LA. It was almost 90 degrees yesterday. What's up, folks? What's up? Well, anyway, we have a great show for you today. This is the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you with nothing but straight talk. That's how we do it around here. My co-host is the wonderful, the fabulous. You guys know how I do it every week. Looking for a new adjective in which to describe him by. I keep coming up with he's just wonderful, black, and he's intelligent, none other than radio personality within his own right. Mr. Keith Swanson. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I wish I had a winter in Los Angeles, but I guess we're not going to get one this year.
You have to go to Atlanta. You got to go to Atlanta. Wow, Keith, I tell you, I had a call last night from someone. They were just blown out the window about what's going on with Trump, and she was panning hard. I said, wait a minute, slow down. But did you see it? I said, no, don't want to see it, not interested. Why are you worried about stuff you have no control over? You're about to have a heart attack. What is wrong with you? She said, I keep my TV glued to MSN or whatever she was telling me.
Okay.
I just can't get over that. So I said, well, you need to stop watching it, honey. I said, because people all over this country is having strokes by the second, and they're young people. So chill. That's all I want to say to people who listen. You know what? You need to chill. You really do. Just need to chill out, okay? Our topic today, we have a great show for you. And our show today is dealing with what lies ahead for the economy, and then your economy. And we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. Is it all that it's pumped up to be? It's time to focus on your economy and the future of your family, because that's the only economy that you can choose the outcome. So we're going to take a look at the why key for investment for the wealthy and why for the investment of the poor. Believe it or not, they have two different agendas when they invest, and we're going to talk about that. And Joe Myers was scheduled to be our guest today, and unfortunately, he's caught up with this thing going around called the flu.
Oh,
the flu bug. Now they say they have a new one out, and they're saying you need to get vaccinated. And it's kind of funny. If it's a new one out, you don't even know what it is. Why am I getting vaccinated against it? Keith, sometimes I wonder, do the world think everybody in the world is absolutely crazy? I don't know.
Well, they do.
I don't know. They scare you so bad. They make you think they put out something and create some medicine for it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Trying not to be paranoid. They say we paranoid, schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. Maybe we are. I don't know.
Yeah, what WC, what did it say? That P.T. Barnum says a sucker is born every minute. So,
I like that one. I like that one. But guess what? We have someone standing in. We're not standing in. We just have another great guy, someone who I love very dearly. And the first thing I thought about, who know any more about this conversation and economics and all this stuff than Mr. Karl Martin, who
mm-hmm.
been on the show as a, just calling in many times, and we just let him hang on as if he was a guest anyway, because he's so full of information. So we invited him to our show today, and we should get some interesting callers. Because someone had called me, saying how much they had made so much money in cryptocurrency. They
Mm-hmm.
almost rich, and some people saying, well, I lost this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when times are tough, people take everything come by as a lottery key. Maybe I
Yeah.
hit it this time. This is the last straw. Let me just go for it, But when we start talking about the wealthy investing and the poor, you're going to see the difference. Because the poor say, well, I'm going to put my rent money up because they want to return back in a month. And the wealthy don't think like that. They kind of invest them for their next generation. So anyway, we're going to have a great show for those who listen. You want to call your friends and get them on because this is a show that they should definitely participate in. But our guest this morning is Mr. Karl Martin. He's no stranger to this network you're talking about, and he's an entrepreneur, and his finger's on the pulse when it comes to money, which way the economy is going. He just all round with that. I just love him very much. So we're going to say good morning, Karl.
Good morning. I love the intro, Rosie, and Brother Keith. Always good talking to y'all.
Hey, Brother Karl.
Oh, yes, it's always exciting. So today we're going to talk about what lies ahead for the economy. We're going to talk about the economy. See, everybody's so worried about the economy. Oh, the economy, the city's economy, the world's economy. What in the heck about your economy? We never figured that in the equation. Where are you going? Where are you headed? What's the future for your family? These are some of the things we have to look at. I was looking where they was talking about the job market, that trying to get people out of poverty. People never come out of poverty, especially in California, as long as you have these little low-level jobs. You said we got a lot of jobs open, but they're not paying enough for a person to pay the rent by themselves unless they rent out a room. So you can't eradicate poverty with lower-level income. Then you have people that's struggling so financially that they're working 2 and 3 jobs. So when you got people working 2 and 3 jobs, then that lessens the amount of jobs for somebody else who's totally unemployed. What do you think about that?
Oh, definitely. I'd like to. I'm glad you broke it up into, like you said, the economy and their economy, and especially in terms of job markets. I'd also like to add another prefix of their. When you said the economy, your economy, excuse me, and I'd like to add the prefix of their economy. Because when you start to see exactly what's happening in terms of this, of course, this new regime that's in office, every regime, it's like, I always try to tell folks that America is the world's biggest flea market. It's not a country. It's like a big Walmart. And basically, it's from its inception, you grab the resource, you industrialize the resource, you commoditize the resource, then you franchise the whole operation. Whether it was when the Portuguese came over for gold, or whether it's Apple looking for coltan for, new iPads. It's the same thing over and over. So you have these 3 different aspects of their, and your economy. The economy, of course, is, how the overall thing runs. Your economy is how you fit within it when you were talking about job markets and things. And I'll bring up, hopefully, if I remember, the tax cuts and how that'll affect. And then their economy, of course, are those that are basically the CEOs, the managers, and the guys that run this store called a Walmart, whether they're presidents, whether they're multinational companies, whether they're Carrier air conditioning in Indiana, or whether they're Apple talking about bringing back jobs. These are like, you're the ones that run the store, i.e. America's economy. So, when we're looking at jobs, and we're looking at things, when we put it in that context, a lot of folks are trying to go from your economy and trying to get into their economy. And here's what I mean. They're trying to become, a lot of folks that are wise are trying to be the ones that are the entrepreneurs, the ones that are running things, the ones that have their own businesses, the ones that can take advantage of the things that, whether it's the same type of advantages that the Apple guys get or the same type of advantages the guy that runs the local bakery. They're going from job to entrepreneurship. But I just had to put that out there for you.
I think that's great, though, when you brought in their economy, because there is a difference, because, we're really in the class system here in America. So you really, that's right. We're talking about the economy. We're talking about the world's economy, the state, city, county economy, and then we're talking about your economy. But you're right, their economy. And with their economy, they are making sure that they stay on top and you and your economy stay on the bottom, because all they push to you. And same with our politicians. We need more jobs for black folks. No, we need more opportunities. We need more entrepreneurship so people can have their family and so they can decide their destiny. It's already set for you when you're on a job. They'll tell you how much you're going to make per month and how much you'll make per month if you stay there the next 15 years. I mean, that is not what people should be looking toward. And you can't leave your job as a legacy, but if you build a strong business, you can leave a legacy, financial stability for multiple people. And somehow we have not gotten to that yet. Because even with the job, we talk about, lower level paying jobs. And many of the jobs, what I've looked into has really been like jobs in hospital, it's in the health field and education. But then we have an issue there with education, because here, particularly in Southern California, we're looking at a majority of the students in the education system in the school are being non-black. And you're looking at them requiring teachers. You've been teaching 40 years. And now someone wants you to be fluent speaking Spanish in order to get a job. So our community have not looked at how we have allowed language to displace our people. And I haven't heard anybody talking about it. Maybe you all have. I haven't heard a word about the fact that, you cannot say Spanish speaking when you put all these jobs out. So what's up with that? When we talk about our economy, we really have to put that equation into the piece, because we've been pushed out more and more.
Yeah, when you're talking about again our economy, their economy, there's so many. Let's take different layers. You have, for instance, the gangs. They have their own economy. You have the Mexicans that run up and down the street with they're selling chicharrones and the ice cream trucks. That's their economy. You've got the Vietnamese down in Westminster that have, the little tea houses and everything else that nobody really knows what goes on. That's their economy. The way that they did it is they set up something. They're using protectionism, which is, of course, protect your money, protect your ethnicity or your people. In other words, make sure everybody buys from you, but you don't buy from them. You just sell. And then you have an aspect of how they're using that entrepreneurship or their economy to shape their own futures and not worry about, they may go out and look at the job markets and things like that, but they consider that an investment. Every job is an investment on both sides, for the employer as well as for the employee. It's just how you use it. For instance, the employer, or I should say a lot of these folks they're like you were talking about, different languages and having to speak Spanish or whatnot. A lot of these folks, what they do is when they're looking at jobs, they're looking at as an investment to invest in something that they're gonna need down the line, that they won't have jobs. They'll be the job creators. The same thing with the Vietnamese, the same thing, in Little Tokyo, the same thing. They're like, okay, that job is an investment. It's just, I'm investing my time to go ahead and reap benefits so that way I can be a job creator. Then you have the employer who's actually saying, hey, I'm going to invest in this employee so I can build my business. I'm going to pay them just enough that it'll keep my margins so they're not totally compressed, that way I'll be okay. And that way, because this employee, it's basically a revolving door. Right. The employer will use that investment to go ahead and franchise and do whatnot. So everybody is building to get to, again, their economy status. One thing that and is very important, because I work with a lot of folks that are Hispanic or Latin or whatnot, And one thing that I've seen over the years is that one of the major reasons why language is important is every new language that you learn, you increase your net worth by 15%. If you learn Spanish, English, or Chinese, it's 25% because the language is a precursor to where commerce goes. And of course, when I'm talking commerce, I'm talking jobs, I'm talking, being able to sell things back and forth or whatever. And if you see that, you see where, and hopefully our folks will get to this mentality, even though we should have had it we had it back in the day. Yeah. I should say pre-civil rights, but hopefully we'll get to that point of saying, well, anything that we do, whether it's a job, whether it's, buying something from a store, everything we do should be an investment to have, again, to make our economy in that status of their economy. And when I'm talking like that, I'm talking about job creators, those that are, having access, that have control of what they, of their own economic system.
Yeah, because money and commerce and jobs are part of a culture. Same thing with language. So if you learn a new language, you have inroads into a new culture. So basically, that's another market. So every new language you learn, it gives you an inroad or an in into another culture and another access to another market. So that's what Karl is saying.
Exactly. Okay, we have a caller, and let me give the number out to us, 310-928-7733, 310-928-7733. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, my co-host, Mr. Keith Swanson, and my guest today is Mr. Karl Martin. And today we're talking about what lies ahead for the economy, their economy, I had to include, and your economy. And we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. Is it all that is pumped up to be? It's time that we focus on our economy and on our family because that's the only economy that we can control. Give us a call, 310-928-7733. Caller, 310, go ahead, talk to us. Good morning, caller.
Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
Good morning. This is Shawana Bourdnave. I'm just coming in to join in on the conversation, and at this point, I'm just listening in.
Okay.
So we're rolling along, and it's interesting. When Karl brought in their economy, that was a whole different dynamic, Karl, and that is really great because it really is a different their economy, your economy, and the economy at large.
Yeah,
so
their economy is global because their economy just had a meeting called the World Economic Forum where they all met to decide what's going to trickle down for our economy. So,
and isn't that interesting, Keith? Because what we do, we focus on the economy within 5 miles radius. What can I get from this community? How can I get them to come over here and buy my product? Not even thinking about other states. At least if we don't go globally, we should certainly be looking at there are people in Tennessee, there are people in Mississippi that can support what I'm doing. Because, Karl, what I'm finding, if we are relying, it's not like yesteryear. We could rely on the community. It was so large. We had a community, which we don't anymore. So you look at your community, if only the people within your 5 mile radius supported your business, no way you can be strong. You just be out here, mom, pop, barely making enough for you and your family, can't even hire your children to pay them a decent wage to come to work with you. And so that's why we really have to start looking outside and looking at a bigger picture, at least extending throughout the United States, because if you look at the makeup, the demographics of most of these communities, and other people are focusing on supporting their own businesses and not yours. So where did that leave us, Karl, for the future? Looking at the breakdown and dynamics, especially in L.A., you're looking how everybody's trying to move back into L.A., and because of the high cost of living, it's forcing some of the people in L.A. to go outside of L.A., which then further decrease the revenue for black-owned business, because a lot of the business we have catering to our people.
Yeah. And even the notion of our people is starting to change because that's starting to become more about class than it is about race as we go forward.
Right. There's certain neighborhoods they don't want to come to buy or to do anything.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
whew,
Yeah.
Basically what it is others invest in, they invest or everything from what they spend to everything that they, their time or whatnot, they invest for their own to rebuild their own. So that way, if they're working for or they're spending money with someone else or doing something else, there's an end game that says, that we will, how could I say it? That we will be in control of our own economic system, regardless of what we do. It's more long-term thinking, where a lot of our folks will invest in other folks to build their enterprise or build their businesses or build their dreams. I always say there's when I work in the music field, I work with a lot of celebrities. Now I work with the artists that are on stage. I say that artist is the only one that's working their dream. Everyone else is an employee. And for Black folk, that's the same thing. And it goes along with, when I said this, their economy, our economy, and the economy, their economy just gave themselves a bunch of tax cuts. And whether it's the small guy or the multinational, everybody else is trying to get to that status because that gives you the ability to control your own. That's why you have a whole this subset of different mechanisms like cryptocurrencies and all these other aspects, because folks are trying to develop a different form of economy. They're trying to develop different ways of trade, different ways of doing things. When you brought up what's happening in LA, and folks coming back, it's actually something of a trend across the nation. Once there was an economic collapse, and asset values went down. When the asset values started to going up, other folks that have, again, that their economy mindset were buying up these assets. They're buying up downtowns. They're buying up all these areas because they know that folks will be flooding back in to fill up their pockets. They know that there will be folks that will, quote unquote, build their dream. And that's something that I notice that whether it's LA or whatnot, you will see an influx of other folks coming in I've seen it already, Nashville, Detroit, because they're saying, hey, we were able to, buy things at a discount. We're going to bring our folks in to build our economy. And it's protectionism. I tell folks all the time, econo-ethnic protectionism. You protect your money, protect your people. We see it and Dr. Claude Anderson says it all the time. You won't find any Chinese folks going ahead eating soul food at a Black restaurant, but you'll see lines out the door of Black folks eating at Chinese restaurants because it's protectionism. You won't find a Black store in a Jewish neighborhood or in a Hispanic neighborhood because of the fact that they know what protectionism is. It's no different than the like you were saying earlier about folks coming back into LA.
Wow, that is really, is to say, stump down interesting. Now when we think about one thing I mentioned when we start talking about investments and we start talking about cryptocurrency, what I'm looking at is a lot of people now who you couldn't get to invest in anything. I remember when Dr. Anderson was doing the fish market. I really am happy that a lot of people stepped forward. We were able to raise money for that. But a lot of people using cryptocurrency as the last lottery ticket. I don't know enough about it, but they say you can really make money. So I'm just going to throw what I have in it. Now, wealthy people, they invest for the next generation. They're looking at something long term. Poor people looking to get into it, and the minute it elevates, they ain't going to take a chance on losing, so they're going to snatch it out as soon as their money doubles. If they go in and put $500 and they see it's $1,000, they taking it out. They're afraid to let it stay there. So let's talk about some of the attitudes about investing and how people, I don't know what you all are hearing in the street about cryptocurrency, but every which way I go, somebody's talking about Bitcoin, somebody's talking about this, you need to do this. I made 40,000, some say I made 100,000, and nobody ever talks about the tax benefit disadvantage or whatever. When they, taking this money out, they act as if they can go to the bank and just pull it out and nothing's going to happen. Carl, I haven't heard anybody talk about capital gain and any taxation involved with these investments.
Yeah, I try to tell folks, especially the crypto is definitely something that has promise. And I should say not just the crypto, but the blockchain and the whole environment.
Right.
Basically, what you're investing is a tech company. You're investing in the next Google, the Microsoft. This whole environment is basically the internet in 1992. Okay, it's the Wild West. There's, it's like all the different quote unquote tokens and these new platforms that are coming up. And these are all the different infrastructure that goes behind the cryptos, that goes behind the entire thing, blockchain, hash graph, rail blocks, the whole nine. Basically, what you have is you have a scenario that this is so new. It's like seeing a house get built up in a neighborhood that might be, a Beverly Hills neighborhood, but you're seeing the first house right now. You're seeing, you're seeing them break ground. So you're not really sure exactly, what kind of houses will be up there, but you know that they're building something, that there's going to be a neighborhood of some type. And that's kind of the environment that's happening right now. A lot of folks for instance, when you have this kind of quote unquote investment or this new Wild West, no different than the gold rush, no different than Beanie Babies, mood rings, pet rock, CB radios, text pagers, and all the other things that folks invested in, fine art, baseball cards. You have ups and downs. You have things where there's going to be, of course, Ponzi schemes like the BitConnects and the Mt. Goxes and stuff like that. It's no different than the same Ponzi scheme that the Robert De Niro movie that he did on Madoff. When you have that irrational exuberance, the folks, and a lot of it is just greed, fear, patience, and discipline, not being able to manage your own and being exploited by others that can. And that's a whole different thing, in terms of investment knowledge and whatnot. But what you're seeing is no different, where a lot of folks, and this is what kind of separates the wealthy or the knowledgeable. I can't really say just the wealthy, but the knowledgeable from those that, again, that are still in that mindset of not being in the quote unquote their economy status. Here's what I mean. You have the ones that are knowledgeable, they understand that these are not only cyclical, they understand that, that there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to, gamble, for lack of a better term. They're going to bet everything they can because they want to get rich or whatever. I saw a guy, and I don't know how true it is. A dude just lost 30 grand in the BitConnect, and another dude lost 100 grand in the BitConnect. But these were because they lacked what the quote unquote wealthy, or I should say the knowledgeable, have, and those are risk managers. Yeah. Risk management is a whole different thing than saying, I want to buy crypto. A lot of these folks that are buying crypto, they're looking for the panacea to their lives. Hey, this is going to make me rich. There's a lot of folks that make a lot of money, or quote unquote, a lot of crypto on paper. Hey, I got 100,000, I got 200,000, whatever. Yeah. But when it comes time to sell, which is what invariably happens, or the inevitable, is that 100,000 is now worth 2,000 or 3,000 because they're paper millionaires. That's a whole different thing, a whole different aspect than a real quote unquote millionaire. It's like the guy who was able to sell it at the top, whereas most folks don't do that. So the thing is,
basically it's the old line is, what can I get for it by next Thursday? In other words,
it's that simple.
It's that simple. Yeah.
It's risk management, and that's why this crypto environment, it's like a lot of folks betting on that neighborhood when they saw the first groundbreaking of they're saying, hey, it might be a neighborhood, it might be a shopping mall, but I want to get in and I'm going to put whatever I can. Well, when you have that, you're going to have guys standing there that, look like they just got off the block saying, hey, I'll sell you this. I got some tickets for you. I could sell you a plot of land. I own this, and some of them might be, shysters, and some of them might be real developers, but we're in that environment, and the crypto environment is so new. The thing is when people do things, to start thinking in terms of risk management. Okay. And that's what separates anyone that I've worked with, especially that are like eight figure type individuals, they don't get into anything unless they know what the downside is before they even think about getting in.
Yeah. I think I remember there was a movie, and, we're talking about the currency, the crisis back in 2008, and this guy, he was investing in it. And his risk manager called up the guy that was investing in and says, okay, how are you screwing me? In other words, what's the downside? There's money in it for you. I know you're screwing me somehow. How are you screwing me? So in other words, that's how the wealthy operate. Okay. I know there is a trick to this somewhere. I want to know where the trick is.
Well,
exactly.
Go ahead.
Are there a lot of people who will take advantage and start scheming on people? Because I'm finding more poor people talking about investment
Mm-hmm.
now than I've ever heard in a lifetime. It's just like it's a fever. It's like it's in the air. It's every which way you turn. Somebody's talking about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and
Well,
what somebody made.
Well,
Dr. Rosie, it's like being in a crowded theater, right? When a fire breaks out. Okay, the people that are gonna make it out first are the people that smell the smoke first and get to the door. Okay, when people see the fire, that's when you're gonna have the big rush. So that's like the same thing with investing in cryptocurrencies. The people that actually made the money smelled the smoke first, and they got out first. So what you get is people now seeing the fire and trying to head to the exit, get out, or find a way out. And the thing is, you find out that you're more a victim than you are a person that is going to survive it.
Okay, and Shawana, I guess that's on the line. I think you had a question or a comment, Shawana.
Well, yeah, I kind of want to comment on the cryptocurrency, especially the reason why you see so many people investing is because they're hearing about Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin was once at a $30 stock, and you had people.
No, 3 cents.
It was
3 cents.
3 cents. But then it went to 30, then it went to 80, then it went to 100, and then the hype just came when it hit like $2,500 to $5,000, and people wanted in.
Yeah.
So once you want to go ahead and get in, you buy in, and that $5,000 or $2,500 per rose all the way as of December 2017, all the way to 19,275 or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're coming in on the ride up, but a lot of people see the ride up and they've invested their own hard-earned money trying to get in and risk it when it's at 13,000 on the way up, and they hold it. When they get to 19,000, like you said, the paper money, they feel like, okay, well, I made all this money, but then it drops. It's all the way to 10,000 now. And then they have all these new cryptos, and you're just coming in. But the people that really make the money are the ones that get in the very beginning. Not on the way up.
Yeah, you always have new pioneers. They're taking a chance. In other words, when they take a chance at 3 cents or $1 or even $100, there's a chance that your money is going to wind up worthless. But it's a very small risk, and it's a very small chance, and they're willing to wait.
Right.
And the people that are coming in on the ride up, okay, the risk is much, much, much higher to actually buy in at the same percentage to get rich.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
There was and I've seen these bubbles and booms and busts since '86. I remember actually since '88. 86 when I was first going for Series 7, and '88 after the crash. The thing is I've seen these bubbles constantly, and the thing is there was a statement. I'm not sure if it was Jesse Livermore or if it was Babson back in when the stock market crashed to 29, when the shoeshine boy was giving him stock tips.
That was Kennedy.
Kennedy, yeah. When the shoeshine boy is giving him stock tips, he knew it was time to get out. And that's kind of what we have is we have a scenario. I'm not saying that people should get out, because there's always a place to buy when it's cheap. But the thing is we're into that, again, like I said, irrational exuberance, where folks are getting in because they desire that this will fix their lives. I've seen it over and over. I've been watching videos of people that lost thousands upon thousands in the crypto.
Wait, Carl, say that again. I want to listen to hear this, because this is what I've been saying. Fix my life.
Yeah.
This is my last go round.
Yeah.
Trump is in there now, help me get, people just have, it's like, fix my life. I want to make one investment. Fix my life. You all listen. This is what people are doing. And they're putting their, money that they can't afford. Yeah. It's okay to risk money, because if you decide to do an investment, if you wait till you can afford to invest, most people never will. But know what you're doing, knowing the sacrifice that you're going to make. So, okay, I'm going to do this for the next 2 years. I know I'm not going to buy a new car. Whatever happens, I'm going to get it fixed. I'm putting this here because I have a grandchild who will be going to college. You do it with a purpose. Please don't just jump in so you can make some money for yourself. Oh, I'm going to make a killing at this. Take I out of the picture. If you can remove that I from the picture, and look at the real big picture, your family, your community, your grandchildren, the nation, You know, when I say the nation, I'm talking about your nation that you participate. If we can move the I out of the way, I think we'll do better when we're trying to make an investment.
Yeah. Because a lot of people have asked me about Bitcoin and the altcoins and ICOs, and I always tell them, it's a lunch money only type of speculation because it's not investing, it's speculating. And a lot of people don't know the difference between investing and speculating because they've been told to invest your 401k, your IRA into Bitcoin or some kind of cryptocurrency. And people don't know that it's not an investment. It is a speculation. And there's a vast difference between a speculative instrument and an investment instrument. Okay.
You know what I decided to do, you guys, because I believe that everybody, if you're serious and you want to make some type of investment, I believe any one of us could do $100 a month easily. What I decided to do, I decided to bring my lunch. You know, I cook for more than one day. I know I can cut in my food. A lot of people eat breakfast out. They stop at Starbucks. They're paying $5 for coffee. They eat lunch out, and they eat breakfast out. They stop at McDonald's on the way in. I decided all the money that I saved from food that I'm going to put it in monthly in an investment. And it's not going to hurt me at all because I was already spending the money.
Exactly.
There are people out there who want to take that challenge, whether it be $50 a month, $100. I want you to email me, and you will have an accountable partner who will check on you to see if you're doing that. You can email me at Dr. Rosie, Rosie at AOL.com. That's Rosie at AOL.com. I would like to have at least 100 people who would join me in cutting back from the food they eat, the poison. Let me stop even saying food is not even food. The poison we're eating is killing us every day. If you can just cut that back, email me and say, me too, okay? Yeah, let this be another me too. Me too.
Yeah.
We're gonna start doing some investment. I don't care what you invested. Even if you don't want to invest, say I'm going to save $50 to $100.
Right.
But you will have an accountability policy. I would check on you to see if you're doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're talking about like the investments in terms of when talking about the rise of Bitcoin, when it went from $3 to 20 grand. I remember the days when Beanie Babies. Okay,
oh, wait, one second. Caller, we coming to you. Coming to you in a minute. Okay, go ahead.
And I remember buying and selling Beanie Babies. They were at $1,200. Okay, $600. And now, you can find them at a garage sale at a penny, if that. Maybe you'd have to pay to get someone to take it from you. It's no different. I remember when the mood rings came out and the pet rocks.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in terms of like you were saying earlier, Keith, the folks that got in at the beginning, of course, it was lunch money. They said, hey, I'm just going to do this. Wherever it goes, I don't care. And then they forget about it. And then, hey, if it goes somewhere, then they made their money. The best investment that folks, and it goes back to the economy, their economy, and our economy. Again, the cryptocurrencies was a panacea for folks that felt that the 2008 crash was, going to destroy the monetary system. So, of course, the drug guys got together with the seedy underworld and said, hey, we're going to create our own environment for commerce. I'll give you some digital this, you give me some digital that. We'll call it Bitcoin, and so be it. Like liquor, like marijuana, it went from underground to overground. So now folks are like, hey, this is a viable thing for our economy. Here's the best investment folks can make, and I'm talking as a collective. I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Rosie, in terms of us, as thinking as a group, acting as a group, performing as a group. The best investment we have, and it goes back to that economy, is those of us who have jobs. Use those jobs as an investment to build our enterprise that we can use as a collective, that we could sell to one another, help one another, give services to one another, buy from, create, or whatever it is, even give information. To be that protectionist, like the Hispanics, the Vietnamese, the Chinese, and the Koreans in downtown LA. The thing is, once we have that mentality of even if we have jobs, everything that we do it's got to be an investment for something that is of a greater cause, of a greater calling, of something that is actually that you can actually use to control. So you're not at that job for 50 years. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're going to take the next caller. Give us your name, where you're calling from.
Greetings. My name is Keith Awadu, calling
Hi,
from
Keith.
Las Vegas.
Hey,
Hi.
Greetings to you. I want to, first of all, tell the listening audience you have three of the most powerful financial, fiscal, entrepreneurial minds in this panel today. Please, everybody, get on the line, tell your friends, tell their friends to tune in for the remaining minutes if you can't get this archive. Got that done said, and I just loving everything that I'm hearing. I do want to put on the table and have your comments. I've just finished authoring my 33rd book, Dr. Rosie. This book is coming out. It's coming. We're shipping it February 2nd. Futurenomics, positioning your enterprise to win in the new global economy. And I know, Keith, you probably know as anyone else, I've kind of had an aversion to our investing too deeply in the American markets, the American economy. While they do power us as individuals, the group moves further backward as we empower that central core of America's financial center. But I want to have all your comments. What about the possibility that maybe we've been in this country for 400 years only to train ourselves to be the leading edge leadership in every category where we do have those jobs that Karl was talking about, to learn how to compete against the companies who have employed us, go back home to Africa and do for Africa over the next 35 years what the Chinese have done in about an equivalent period of time. Your response, and I'd like to hold up for a follow-up.
Well, if you look at it, that the United States and the West are post-industrial, and Africa and other parts are pre-industrial and sometimes just barely get into the industrial part. That is where the growth is. And if you want to make money, you want to have a consistent job, you're going to have to go where the growth is, because as post-industrial as the United States and the West is, eventually they're going to need less and less and less things and less people to do things. So if you want a job, if you want a future, you have to go where the growth is. That's been that way for a long time. Go ahead.
Right. And what I think, too, Keita, one of the things I'm looking at, that's why I work with this organization, My Econ, where we focus on your economy, teaching people how to really deal with their monies, how to the importance of being in a business. That's what I've been pushing it last year. And now you see all the tax laws are written for the people in business. So if you don't have a business, you're losing basically everything. So now you already couldn't write off interest, on personal bills. Now they're moving towards your home. There's so many things they're taking out. So it's important for us to position ourselves so we can have money to invest in Africa and to invest in Mississippi, Louisiana. I do live in trust, and I can tell you, I can look at least the hundreds of thousands of land that my clients own in the South, and their kids will never go back there. Some of them have timber that people cutting, and they don't know who's doing what. We have enough resource here. We need to get into farming. We need to start growing stuff. We just need to come together and map out our plan, because there's no plan for us here unless we plan out for ourselves. Our children, I don't know what's going to happen to them, because the job you have, they won't have it, the salary you haven't. And that's why when people pass along and people get mad, that boy lost that house. Miss Liz will work hard for that house. Yeah, Miss Liz got 2 loans on it. Miss Liz mortgage is $4,000. Miss Liz knew before she closed her eyes that she didn't have not one child that could pay $4,500 a month. So we need to, I agree with you, we need to focus on having the economy that we can put our money where it's really going to work, and stop listening to those who are trying to tell us, well, they rip you off in Africa. People try to do that. You hear that all the time.
Right.
You can't trust them. The Nigerian, they doing them the same way they did us. You can't trust blacks. Blacks are still, don't let them work in your house.
Right.
They're doing the same thing to Africa, and we're buying into it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Keith, it's always great listening to you. But you've basically answered your question with just the question itself. It's at the core of basically what I believe in. Africa
And I want
is
that book. Send me the first copy, Keita, before you sign to anybody. I'm serious. Just tell me what it is. I want the first copy, okay?
I will email you today the ebook, Dr. Rosie, which goes on sale today. But Karl, your opinion has always been very valuable to me.
Man, that's at the core. What you just said, it answered itself. It's the core of what we should have been doing from day one. I'm not even talking to Garvey. I'm talking even before. And the reason I say that is because we were put here for 400 years. We have 400 years, more than that, actually. We have that of skills. We built a country. It's not like we can't rebuild a continent. Okay, it's like, I mean, we have that, and especially, and I'm glad, Keith, that you brought up in terms of where the growth is, because that's where everybody's going. That is not Black America, because they know where growth is. They're like, hey, Africa is going to be it. That's where all the growth is. So therefore, we're going to make sure that they stay here. The Black Americans, if you want to call it that, stay where they're at, and we're going to go to the new gold mine, kind of like most of us are running into cryptocurrencies. They're saying, hey, that gold mine is Africa. We're taking what we can. And it goes along with what Dr. Rosie was saying in terms of definitely, the thing is to disparage us, whether it's on TV, whether it's wherever we're at on the globe. It's like, oh, they're, Boko Haram, or these guys are doing that, the Nigerians, to disparage us from wanting for us to actually do what's responsible and what's knowledgeable. I mean, common sense is to go back home, take our skills, the skills that we've had for 500 years, return back home and rebuild where the growth is, as Brother Keith said.
Yes.
And if you stop giving all of your money to the folks here who don't even like you, if you stop doing that, then you will have enough. You'll be able to accumulate enough that you can go back home, that you can invest. But we're so busy supporting every darn day come out. They got a month, they got the year-end sale, Black Friday, anything they give a name, we're running to it. You got Easter, you got Mother's Day. Every day ought to be Mother's Day. Every day ought to be Christmas. Every day ought to be Father's Day. They got every month for you to spend your money with big business, and they give you nothing. So that's why I'm putting out that call. I want folks to email me and say, me too, I'm going to save at least $50 to $100 a month, and it's going strictly for investment.
I'll give you a funny story how a friend of mine started, he's in a wheelchair, he's a disabled vet, how he started making investments and making money in Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, right? Because he didn't have any money, other than his disability check, right? He said, how am I going to make money in Bitcoin? You know what he did? He had this large collection of Air Jordans, right? Vintage Air Jordans. Guess what he started doing? He started selling those. In other words, he said, I'm going to trade the foolish money that I did spend on these Air Jordans. I'm going to get on eBay, sell those, and that money is going to go fuel my investment into cryptocurrencies. And that's what he did. That's how he started making money in cryptocurrencies.
You have to let something go. Shawana, you want to make a comment? And Keith, I want you to read what's on the board. Go ahead, Shawana.
Oh, no, I was just basically listening to everything that you were saying and totally in agreement with you. I mean, we we have to do business plans for ourselves. I mean, when we look at who we are, without a business plan, we don't know where we're going. And a lot of times in life, we can't just invest blindly. We have to really think about what we're investing in the time that we're investing in it. And we have to realize that the business is not just about a business that you see like Google or eBay or Amazon. We are a business. And once we start realizing that we are a business, and without a business plan, we don't have any direction. And we have to start really thinking about, what is our business plan? What is it where do we want to go? Where do we see ourselves? Where were we in 2017? And where do we see ourselves December 2018? We have to understand that without a plan of action, the action happens, but it happens by chance, not by choice. And we have to start making decisions to make the choice to guide our lives, as opposed to just let our lives and allow our lives to happen.
That's a good point that we do. I think we need to have regional meetings across this country, 4 or 5 states where people come together, heads of state, and really look at what we need to do. And
Yeah.
each major city need to make a plan. So what are the plans for our survivor in Texas, in New York, in the major metropolitan area? If we don't have a plan, like you said, we're just going to be running around talking and spread out.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. Oh, okay. I was going to read what was on the board because Dr. J is on fire today. Okay. His first message is, I'm still driving my 1985 Mercedes diesel and have not had a car payment in over 23 years.
Oh.
Okay. So, I mean, that is a good strategy because the biggest loss in investment is when you buy a new car and drive it off the lot. You lose like 30% just driving it off the lot. So a brand new car on the lot is probably the worst investment you can actually make. Okay, his second message is black people will never be economically viable in America, as the American economy is only viable for less than 1% of the population. It's over, Dr. J says. And he says, and we should support and promote capitalism as a viable economic. Should we support capitalism as a viable economic system going forward? Yes, we should, because capitalism is an engine. It's an engine, but it needs to be balanced. And the thing is, there's more than one type of capitalism, as the Chinese have shown us. So you need to understand what capitalism is, what boundaries are, just like anything else. When you buy a car, an engine, it has a certain amount of horsepower, it has certain amount of care and maintenance. It takes a certain amount of fuel and has to be driven a certain way. And capitalism is that. And there's just like there's different types of engines, there's different types of capitalism, and it has to be balanced with different types of systems. So yes, we should, because it is an engine, but we need to understand what it is, because most people don't. And guess what? They don't teach you what it is. You have to learn that on your own.
And you know what?
Exactly.
Most black people, too many black people operate under the socialistic society, not capitalistic. That's why they cannot grow. That's why they cannot prosper, because they are trying to practice socialism in a capitalistic society.
With socialism and capitalism is the engine, one is the control rod. Okay. You can't make money with the control rod. You need the nuclear reactor. You can't have the nuclear reactor without the control rod, because it will blow you up. So those two things are in balance. You have to have socialism and capitalism in balance. Even in the United States, people don't understand what socialism is. If you public school is socialism. Okay, your social security check is socialism. Your unions are socialism. Your unemployment is socialism. That is to balance out the engine of capitalism. You have to understand that these two things work together. You cannot have one without the other. The Chinese understand that. They have capitalism and socialism together and working in harmony. Those two things go together. You cannot be out of balance, just like Ma'at. You have to practice Ma'at with capitalism. It has to be a balance. Otherwise, it will run over you.
And
well,
if I could,
go ahead, Carl.
I'd like to add go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kitty.
Well, I just wanted to get the final question out, again, dealing with this situation of creating globally based enterprise. In the book, Futurenomics, I talk about that. Currently, 1 out of every 5 people on Earth is an African, which puts us in a very strong demographic position, especially we are the youngest people on Earth. And currently, there are 70 nations, excluding Melanesia and the Papuan nations. There are 70 nations with majority black populations. That is a fact. That's 1 out of every 3 nations on Earth, majority black populations. So when we consider that if we confine ourselves to business inside the United States, we're currently spending $7 while producing $1. So your thoughts about that Black Uhuru song, Brother Karl? The whole world's African, and now we need to start acting like that. Thank you all for your attention today.
And the cryptocurrencies are going hand in hand with doing business in Africa, because you have at least 10 or 11 countries bypassing the the white colonist system, monetary system, using Bitcoin, using Litecoin, using the other coins. So you can do business directly outside of the bounds of the white banking system using the altcoins if you know how to use them. So there are alternative ways that are opening up all the time. Go ahead, Karl.
Yes, that's the thing with the crypto environment. A lot of folks are looking at it as the panacea. It could be a panacea, again, if it's invested properly. When I say invested, I'm not talking about trying to make money. I'm talking about creating the next Google. If you could create the enterprise to say, hey, we can go ahead and do commerce amongst Africans alone using our own ICOs or our own tokens or whatever it is, creating the new technologies, the new platforms that are, like you have Ethereum, you have a lot of new platforms. Those folks are the ones that are gonna own the future, because the guy that went ahead and said, "Hey, I'm gonna create a search engine. I don't want to use Archie or Yahoo anymore. I want to use Google." Well, now you see where it is. He didn't say, "Hey, I want to invest in and put some money into Google." He said, "I want to create the Google, create those platforms." Again, the Western. I'm glad you brought that up, Brother Keith, about the bypassing the Anglo economy. The Anglo economy is banking, payment, and credit. That's the foundation, just those three right there.
Right.
And the thing is, the crypto environment is putting a dent in all three of them. Yeah. And that will actually be able, again, it's about our economy. We can create our economy using, whether it's the crypto environment or whatever mechanism we have to go ahead and circumvent or, go around, for lack of a better term, the Anglo or the other, whether it's Chinese or whoever, banking, payment, and credit. We can have it amongst ourselves. Do it, what Keely was talking about, not only just commerce, but actually, I mean, hey, if we're one out of every 5 folks on the planet are Africans, that's a lot of commerce. And we could use our own cryptos. We could use our, whatever mechanism. We can use clamshells from the Flintstones, whatever it is, for us to do our own economy.
Exactly.
That's how you invest in a crypto environment or a new technology type of environment.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. It is so important, folks, for us to really look at, and Shawana, you raised a real issue. Not only, I keep telling people, let's go home. Let's start with our family. I mean, let's start there, because the community is made up of people who came out of this thing called houses and homes. So we need to start there, start looking at our economy there, start looking at the waste, start looking at the cutting back, start teaching your children at an early age about investment. If not investment, at least teach them how to save, at least have them to pull their money out of traditional banks and look at credit unions who pay a little more interest. We just got to start there, because when you look at the job market, you're looking at the fact that most of the jobs now in medicine, it's in the hospital, it's in education, it's in hotels, it's in restaurants, and you see very few black people in those areas where they are the highest rate of middle income and lower income. Right. So if we see they're not there, they're being shut out of there, that's critical, because what I'm saying, Karl, unless we find a way to get past just being able to pay your rent and your car insurance, then we can't invest anywhere. That's why my whole focus, every Thursday, I have a training opportunity meeting showing people how to get into their own business, how to employ their children under 18 and pay them thousands of dollars and still claim them as a dependent, and they do not have to file tax. But you got folks, oh no, that don't sound like legal. I'm trying to say, when did you get so legal? Go, you know what I'm saying? Go.
Well, they say behind every great fortune is a great crime. We need to find some great crimes, okay?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the book, Internal Revenue Code, gives you all the things that you can use, and you got black folks looking at me saying, well, Dr. Milton, that don't sound legal. I said, well, call Internal Revenue. It's in the book. I'm not telling you anything that you cannot do. If you want to win, you got to learn the system and play in it. Anyway, you guys call me. Those who are listening, who are interested in a better way, call me at 323-750-3592. 323-750-3592. And be a part of the meeting. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the meeting.
You better, because this is a bus that is rolling downhill and it's going to run over a whole lot of people. If you don't want to be thrown under the bus, you better be on the bus. You better talk to Dr. Rosie right now, because 2018 is going to be, this bus is going to pick up speed and it's going to run over people. It's already starting to run over people.
And once it starts rolling, it's not stopping. Okay?
It's not stopping. You don't want to
stop, pick up no passenger. It's going to leave from one point and it's headed to the next point. It won't be no stopping. It's not stopping it.
Either you're going to be a passenger or you're going to be a roadkill. Okay.
Well, I want to leave this quote by Earl Nightingale. We are all self-made. Only the successful will admit it.
Yes. Oh, yes. That is very true. Exactly. That's true.
Right?
That's true.
We are all self-made. Only the successful will admit it.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you got to email that one to me, Shawana. Okay.
Everybody else
I will.
The loser says everybody else's fault except
wow.
mine.
Yeah.
Right.
This show is going to air again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 Eastern Standard Time. I tell everybody who listens, you need to call everybody you know and tell them to go to innerlightradio.com at 7 p.m. and re-listen to this show.
Oh, yeah, this is hot. Yeah.
Karl, I can't thank you enough. You know, there's no accidents in the world because you were the man for this job. You were supposed to be on this show today. I appreciate you. To one of my future co-hosts. Well, she's my little co-host now, coming on up, Keith. One day the two of you going to be doing this show. When I'm on the road, I got things to do and places to go and still have places to see. Somebody better get your ticket if you want to travel with me. But we're not playing this year, Karl. I'm looking for folks who ready to go and stop talking. Don't tell me anything about Trump. Trump started making money. He started creating business, and that's what you better be trying to create for you. Congress is still making laws to make the fat guys fatter and for you to stay thinner. So you better get a grip and understand what life is really about and get on the train.
What Trump is doing and what Congress is doing, they are separating the wheat from the chaff right now. Okay, right. Because they have to. There is no more fat, so they're cutting into bone.
And whatever they do, you're gonna be too broke to do something about it. You're gonna be too broke to do it, or just not even broke. Worse than that. So we don't want to be worse than broke, because that's what's gonna happen. But go ahead, Brother Karl. Anyone want how do we contain Karl into 1 hour? That's the amazing thing. No, Karl, we gotta have you back. Okay, we gotta have you back.
I appreciate it. Yeah, there's just so much. I mean, first, one thing I want to say is I'm glad you brought up the thing about a job market, and just remember, markets, things spoil. They get new things in, they get new things out, they turn over product all the time. So if folks remember that, then they know exactly how tenuous their position is. And the other thing. And I can leave you guys.
Wait, Karl, you getting ready to scare somebody. They just getting ready to buy a house, and you talking about they may not have no job. Don't do that, Karl.
Yeah. All it takes.
Positive. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. It's those terms, job market. And I buy my things at the market, and I try to get them fresh. It won't be their taste. It's one of the things I can leave you guys with this. Is whether it's Trump or whoever, America, Trump, the global economy, their economy, your economy is nothing more than a hammer. You could either use it to build something or brush your teeth with it.
Wow, that's powerful. Karl, thank you so much. Shawana, thank you so much. You all go out and invest in something. I don't care what you invest in something just to say I tried.
Yeah.
What it say? The greatest failure is not to try. The greatest failure. Thank you all so much, Keith. I couldn't do it without you. It's been great. Dr. J was on the money today. He just been riding, and hey, what can I say? Next week, you guys. Next week.